Hey guys, today we're talking about trigger control, all right? And this is about the first time that you'll hear me say this, but I want you to pick a safe location, take about 1 or 2 minutes to do the following. Pull the trigger slowly, all right? Again, you'll never hear me say that again, but just for the sake of becoming familiar with the trigger, I want you to just slowly add the pressure, and in that 1 or 2 minutes or so, I just want you to become familiar with what that pre-travel looks like, or all that kind of fluff that a lot of triggers, especially like striker fire guns like this one have. We want to figure what that feels like, okay? Next, after the pre-travel, there are going to be these speed bumps or these fake walls until we arrive at that last possible wall. And that's where I know that if I add a little more pressure to the trigger, it's going to go off, okay? And what I'm trying to do is, again, just become really familiar with the trigger, okay? And inevitably, inside of that 1 or 2 minutes, what I'm trying to work towards is breaking the trigger. And as I reset the slide, I'm also resetting and getting back to that last wall as quickly and aggressively as I can, so that all I have is that last little bit to work through. And it should look like this. All right? So we go through that process so we're familiar with how much actual effort it takes to break the trigger. What this allows me to do is pull the trigger from all the way deeper into the wall, which makes it really easy to shoot on a target as unforgiving as a 1-inch pacer is at 7 yards. All I'm waiting for is my sights to lift and settle, look like a dot again where I'm looking, and then all I'm going to do in that time is cheat as far into the wall as I can, so when the sights give me the go signal, all I'm doing is contending with that last little bit of wall in that trigger press. Now, does the target get a say in how I run the trigger? Possibly. I more like to think about it as, in the time that I'm waiting to see what I need to see, per the target context, I am going to cheat my way into that trigger as much as I can. Now, there are going to be targets that will require me to just see good enough and go on the trigger from wherever I'm at. What I'm going to demonstrate now is a drill that we do at Pistol 1 called trigger control at speed. All right, starting off on this target, which is going to be a 1-inch sticker at 7 yards. The starting position will be prepped all the way as much into the wall as I can, and then when I get the buzz, I'm going to finish the shot as quickly as I can, and my goal is to be inside of a 1/4 second. Here we go. All right, that was a 2-0. All right, that was a 2-3. All right, that was a 17, and all the shots are pretty much stacked right on top of each other. In .17, do you guys think that I have the ability to slowly roll the pressure onto the trigger as to not move my sights off target? No. I have to have all that grip, all that stuff kind of figured out so that all I need to do is contend with that last little bit of wall in my trigger press. Now, the second iteration of our trigger control at speed is we then up the target size to a 2-inch circle at 7 yards. Now here, the setup is going to be, I'm just going to be touching the trigger. So for those of you that have striker fire guns or have trigger safes, that's all we allow you to prep. Beyond that, all you're doing is just touching the trigger. And then on the timer, once again, all you're looking to do is get through the entire trigger press as aggressively as you can. Here we go. All right, that was a 2-1. 2-5. All right, and that was a 2-1. So once again, by textbook definition, am I jerking the trigger? Yeah, absolutely. In 0.2 of a second, I do not have the time to slowly roll pressure onto that trigger, in particular where I'm starting. So the idea here is, can my grip hold onto the gun firmly enough? Can I look at a spot on the target, and can I finish a trigger press as aggressively as just touching the trigger and not impart any undue movement into the gun? The last trigger prep that we do at Pistol 1 is called the float, all right? So basically what that entails is no contact with the trigger. I'm just in here, my finger is in the trigger guard. And again, as with all 3 types of trigger presses that we teach, I'm still trying to keep times under a 1/4 second, all right? So here we go. And the target that I'm shooting at is now a 4x4 black sticker. All right, that was a 2-4. 2-5. All right, and that's a 2-0, and I'm easily able to keep them inside of that 4x4. Guys, this is a drill that you absolutely have to add to your dry fire regimen. I still do this a couple times a week, and it is the #1 way that I have found to audit your grip. Because at the end of the day, this is basically just a grip audit exercise, right? Can I rip through the trigger at varying levels of prep? And can I do that without imparting any undue input into the gun and influence the shots off my intended target? I hope you learned something, and definitely this drill, what it helps me to do is learn about myself and what I'm doing with my hands. So I hope you implement this into your dry and live fire, and we'll see you on the next one.